The Mandalorian has returned, everyone. I am so excited to talk about today on the show today. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian, the most recent episode. Was it episode 7, right?
Yes, 7.
Of season 3. It's going to be awesome. Listen in today on Two Geeks and a Microphone. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone show. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, the most illustrious, whose beard is not as long as it was in the opening trailer that we have done, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom land. I've been thinking about growing it back out. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. We're moving into summer.
Yeah, but if I just grow it long and keep it trimmed or shaved on the sides, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Nice.
We'll see. I do different things with it.
And that is okay, by golly.
Tell you what I'm not doing is painting it orange again.
How long did it take to get that out?
Oh, gosh. It took a few weeks to get that out. And then they had an announcement at work saying that we were going to do photos for new security badges. I was like, really? You wait how many years? I mean, it's been over 10 years since we had a new security badge, and it's like, oh yeah, I go dye my beard orange and then you announce this.
That's probably what propagated it all. They're like, let's get,
he's got an orange beard. Let's just change the photos. Yeah, probably.
Oh gosh. Well, hey, today everybody on the show, we are talking about the latest episode of The Mandalorian, and I cannot wait to have this conversation.
Yes.
So with that being said, we're going to just move right along and get through our news and Geekdar so we can get to the main event. So, Mr. Mike, what do you have in the news?
All right, let's play the bumper. Okay, so today, let me share my screen here. Okay, so I got a couple things. Apparently, James Gunn officially announced that they have cast Frank Grillo as their first hero for their upcoming what is it, Gods and Monsters series.
Yes.
Apparently, he is going to play none other than wait a minute. Oh, Rick Flag. He's going to be Rick Flag. Now, I find this interesting because, okay, James Gunn said in his announcement that you're going to have a consistency between animated and live action. So,
right. Right. That's meaning I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. Meaning that actors who play them in live action will play them also, voice them also in the animated series. Now, I find it interesting because Rick Flag in Suicide Squad was, oh, wait, I had it here. I lost it. Anyway,
news items.
Anyway, it was the other actor. I can't think of his name now. So
Joel Kinnaman.
Yes, thank you. It was Joel Kinnaman. I find it interesting that Joel Kinnaman won't be returning as Rick Flag because
he got killed off. Right?
Well, okay.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody.
But then again, this is an animated, so you could still bring him. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Anyway, so and then Three Geeky Dads put a post up yesterday.
There he is, Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, there's Joel Kinnaman. Yeah, there he goes. That's what I was looking for. Three Geeky Dads also put up a post yesterday that David Harbour is going to be the voice of Frankenstein in the Creature Commando series. So that's interesting because he is the British version of Captain America, or the Russian version of Captain America in Marvel. So he's crossing over to the DC side. I found that interesting.
He
So
was already technically DC with. Wait a minute. Which
with
is
who?
Hellboy? Hellboy is.
That's not DC.
Oh, okay.
Hellboy's. I think Hellboy's its own. I don't think that's either DC or Marvel. I don't think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not a DC property. Not that I remember. So we have that. And then it was announced at Star Wars Celebration, Bad Batch Season 3 will be the final season for Bad Batch. So Bad Batch is ending next year.
Aww.
Hellboy
Yeah.
is an independent.
That's what I thought. Hellboy is an independent. Thank you, Megan. So yeah, Season 3 will be the final season of Bad Batch.
Hellboy's on Dark Horse.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
published by Dark Horse Comics.
Well, either way, it's not Marvel or DC. And I knew that. I knew that.
Just had to figure that out. Okay.
So Bad Batch will be coming to an end next season. And then I'm just throwing this one in for a dig at Steven, because Steven poo-pooed on my last announcement of this. But CBR.com is still promoting the fact that the Batman, Batman the Cape Crusader, is going to be on Amazon Prime and not HBO Max.
I'm shocked.
So take that, Steven. That's the only reason I put it in there. Because when I first announced that, you're like, I'll believe it when I see it. Well,
I'll believe it
CBR.com
when it releases.
still,
I'll believe it.
Is still promoting that. So I think it's happening, and I can't wait. It's gonna, although we do have Jar Jar Abrams working on it too, so that does scare me a bit. But you got Bruce Timm, so we got
if we got Bruce Timm, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I think Bruce Timm will slap
Jar
Jar
Jar will
around
just produce or whatever, because Tim's gonna control that story.
Let's hope so.
Yeah,
we'll snack Jar Jar a bit.
Hey, let me ask you this: of the Batman animated series, let me rephrase it. Of all the different iterations of Batman in animation, which series do you think is the best?
Oh, hands down, Batman animated series.
Yeah.
The 90s. Hands down. That's simply the best. And the funny thing is, I did when which one was it? What was the one Megan and I we used to watch together all the time? Brave and the Bold.
Mm-hmm.
When Brave and the Bold came out, I was disappointed at first because it came out and it was very campy. It had the feel of the 60s Adam West Batman, and I was like, oh, that's not what Brave and the Bold is supposed to be. Because I remember reading the Brave and the Bold comic books as a kid, and it was you pulled Batman out of Gotham City and you paired him with other characters that you wouldn't normally do, which they did do in the animated series. I'm not saying they did it wrong. It's just they made it very campy, kind of like the 60s Adam West Batman. And at first I was disappointed with that, and then I started watching the show and I'm like, oh my gosh, this show is freaking hilarious. I loved it, and I was disappointed when it ended. I was like, and the ending was so weird because it was like we had no idea it was ending, and Megan and I are both watching it and we're looking at each other, and she's like, Dad, what is going on here? I go, I think this is the end.
Wow.
And sure enough, it was. It was so weird. It was a good episode though, and it was a Batmite episode, and I loved the way they did it. It was fantastic.
Right.
But yeah, that was great. And then I will give an honorable mention to the Batman animated series, the one that's just titled The Batman. When that one first came on, I absolutely hated it. I was like, I can't stand this. I didn't like the voice of Batman. I didn't care for the animation style. It's just, I was like, what did they do here? And then a friend of mine at work had said, you need to go back and rewatch it because it's getting a lot better. And I did. I went. They added in Batgirl and they added in Robin, and I think they had even added in Nightwing at that point. And actually, it was starting to feel more like the Bat family. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. So I was starting to like it a little bit better. I haven't watched all of them. I should go back and start watching that again. But so I would give that an honorable mention. But hands down, Mark Hamill, uh, Kevin Conroy, the
Yeah.
best Batman duel ever. Period.
And
Yep.
that's how we got Harley.
Huh?
And that's how we
That's
got
right.
Harley.
And the introduction to Harley. Harley.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know we were going to have this conversation this morning.
No, you brought. I'm just continuing on with the news. That's pretty cool.
No, that is cool. Okay. So that's all I got for the news. You ready
Okay.
to move on to some Geekdar?
Yes, that sounds excellent. Most excellent.
Well, you don't need that, Private. We're right here. Now, what is it? Now, what is it?
I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
So Steven, do you have any Geekdar for today?
No,
None. Okay.
no Geekdar. It's been a full week.
I understood. I understand that. Steven is a very busy man. I, on the other hand, my wife and I both decided to indulge ourselves in Picard.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I kept seeing all these reports from people saying that Picard season 3 is just fantastic.
I have heard that as well. Yes.
And I was like, okay, I am a fan of Next Generation.
Mhm.
But
That's
I had
my
heard,
favorite. That's
Yeah,
my
me
favorite.
too,
It's Next
me too.
Generation.
But I had heard bad things about Picard season 1, so I never
I had
started.
heard the same. Mhm.
So I never started it, but I keep hearing it, and I'm like, okay, should I just jump into season 3 and skip 1 and 2? Well, I'm kind of the kind of guy that I feel I gotta jump in from the beginning. Now, I can't just jump into something in the middle. I gotta know what the heck's going on.
Mhm.
So we decided to give it a shot, and we started from season 1. We finished season 1 last night. Actually, I think it's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it.
Is it helpful that you can binge it to a certain degree?
I would do like 2 episodes a night.
Okay.
But yeah, it's helpful. There's some slow points to it, and it's definitely not Next Generation.
Mm.
But I mean, there's some feels of Next Generation here and there.
Mhm.
It's a bit darker than Next Generation is.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, some diehard Trek fans, they don't like that because they're like, well, Star Trek shouldn't be dark, and I don't know. I thought it was good. I enjoyed
Mhm.
it. So, and I don't know anything about season 2. I don't know how that's going to go, but I mean, you had the Romulans in it, and you had the Borg in it. This actually made me feel sympathetic to the Borg, and I've never felt sympathetic to the
Whoa.
Borg. Yeah.
Whoa.
So that actually intrigued me enough that I was like, yeah, I'll stay on board for season 1 because I got to find out what the heck's going on here. So
Gotcha.
just a little teaser. But in all of the hype that we heard about season 3, Brendan and I heard that, okay, so I'll give a little spoiler for season 3, and this is all I know. But apparently there is a hint that Captain Kirk could be sort of, let's say, frozen like Walt Disney. You know how it's always been rumored that Walt Disney is in a
Cryogenic.
chamber and all that stuff.
Right.
Well, they apparently hint that something similar has happened to Kirk too. And in that reporting, I didn't know this, but they said they talked about the fact that William Shatner was actually very unhappy with his death in Star Trek Generations.
Sure, it was kind of wimpy.
Yeah, it was. It was. Now, I should probably save this in case we do a Star Trek, but I'll do it anyway. So my brother-in-law Roger and we actually went and seen Generations in the theater
Mm-hmm.
because neither one of us were original Star Trek fans, and we actually went just so we could cheer Kirk's death on and piss off Trekkies.
I'm sure this is probably a multiverse situation. I want to let me share with you what the three geeky dads posted this week.
Oh yeah,
and on the picture, everybody, it shows says, meanwhile, somewhere in the multiverse, and there's a picture of Captain Kirk who's bald, as if Jean-Luc Picard, he was bald, and then next to it is a picture of Jean-Luc Picard but with hair.
The sad thing is, I think Kirk looks better bald than Jean-Luc looks with hair.
Gotcha.
I think
you guys
Jean-Luc
can find that on the Three Geeky Dad podcast Facebook page.
I think Jean-Luc with hair is a little more disturbing. It's weird. But anyway, so apparently William Shatner was not happy with his death. And William Shatner has written several books too. I didn't know it, but he wrote a book to kind of write over the fact that Captain Kirk died.
Okay.
And so we were so intrigued, I found it.
What?
Yeah. So it's called Star Trek The Return. Legends Never Die. And it's got both Picard and Kirk's faces on it. Kind of like the posters to Generation, because I think that's what the Generations posters
looks kind of like that, yeah.
So I got another book to finish before I start this, though, and I probably will rewatch Generation just before I start reading this book too. But
right on.
I thought it was interesting, and it intrigued both me and Brenda. So I went on Amazon, and I was like, well, I'll be darned. I found it, and it's in hardback too. I got it for $8. So first, I also found a price sticker before we went live. Apparently, the people that got it before me, they got it from Goodwill for $1.99. They found it, I didn't. So I got to pay the charge. I don't know. I'm not complaining about $8. I think that's actually a fair price. So
it looks like it's in good shape too.
Yeah, it's actually in really good shape. I was very pleased with it. So no
very nice
pages, no dog-eared pages. The jacket is still intact. So yeah, I'm impressed.
Right on.
That's my Geekdar.
Sweet. Okay. Let's do this.
Right. Time for.
It's time for the main event. All right, everybody. I'm very excited to learn. Go ahead.
This is the way. Episode 5, that wasn't the way.
Gotcha.
Episode 7, this is the way.
Right. All right. Let's hear this, man. I want to get your I want you to start us off with a bang.
I already got a scale for us.
Ooh, okay.
As soon as I saw a particular thing in the episode, I went, that's our scale right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Is there spoiler alert on the scale?
I guess slightly. Yeah, slightly spoiler alert. It's an Imperial probe droid.
Imperial probe droid. Okay.
I love the Imperial probe droids. They're such cool looking droids. I do have a.
Who knew they could be communicators, or have they could do the 3D whatever communication tool thing or whatever.
Yeah. but man, they're cool looking. I just love them. So I saw that and I'm like, Imperial probe droids, that's our scale. So I will give this a 9 out of 10 Imperial probe droids.
Okay.
Easily.
All right.
A lot of action.
Mm-hmm.
We get the return of a particular character that I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just Mandos, and more Mandos. You can't be disappointed with more Mandos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I very much loved this episode. Huge improvement over episode 5.
Right. What was episode 5?
That's the one with Jack Black and Lizzo and Christopher Lloyd.
Oh yeah.
Huge disappointment.
The premise was good though. That's all right. We've already talked about that.
Yeah.
We've already talked about that. So everybody go back and listen to that.
As Ben Kenobi would say, move along. This was not the Mando you're looking for. Move along.
I tell you what, I also will give this a 9 out of 10.
Oh wow.
Droids.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it.
I did too. And I rewatched it this morning too.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Nice.
Yes. I try to rewatch them before we go on if I get up early enough, and I was up early enough today, so
cool. So yeah, the Mandalorian visits an opulent world in search of a more lucrative work was 6. Then 7, a group of survivors decide to come out of hiding and stand up against a local tyrant.
yes.
The
title of this was Spies.
Yeah.
Not just spy, but spies plural.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to talk about what exactly that means, because we know one spy for sure, but then the other spy I think is hidden. So
okay. Oh, I'm intrigued. All right. So how do we want to walk through this? You want to walk through our favorite parts and then go into spies, or
well,
it's all going to be spoiler territory from here on out, everybody.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to talk about this episode without going into spoilers.
Yeah. So here's fair warning, spoilerific territory.
So, well, we begin with I can't think of her name, the one that killed the doctor, Dr. Pershing. Or well, she didn't kill Dr. Pershing. She might have turned him into a vegetable.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's quite obvious she is the spy in the beginning. Because she's the one that the probe droid comes up to, and she has a report to Moff Gideon.
Right.
So Moff Gideon returns. I can never say his real name. Gosh, his name is so hard for me to say. I love that actor though. He's incredible. He was so good in Breaking Bad, and he's so good in this. And
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes, thank you. He's just an incredible actor. I think he's a great addition to Star Wars, and he was fantastically full of himself in this episode. By the way,
Yes,
I loved it. So yeah, we get her reporting to him. So we obviously see one spy to start with. She is quite obviously the spy. But like I said, the title is Spies, plural. So somewhere there's another spy in this, and I have a theory.
Okay.
I don't know if I like my theory, but I have a theory.
Okay.
And then we get the Shadow Council, the Imperial Shadow Council, and we get another heir to the Empire clue there. Did you notice that we get Palian, however you say it, Palian, Commander Palian? He was Thrawn's right-hand man in the Heir to the Empire novels. And I liked him a lot too. And It was him. They actually called him by name, and I was like, oh crap, we're getting more heir to the Empire. Oh,
Mhm.
and he was all loving on Thrawn there too, because he's like,
Right.
we have to wait for the return of Thrawn. Thrawn's coming, and then Moff Gideon's like, yeah, when's he coming back?
Right. And then you get a whole power play, and that was pretty
yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna see a struggle between Moff Gideon and Thrawn. And as much as I like Moff Gideon, I want to see Thrawn take him down.
Yeah.
Because I like Thrawn better.
Yeah.
He is one of my all-time favorite Star Wars antagonists. So yeah, love him. So I love the whole Shadow Council. That was awesome. So cool to see the whole behind the scenes of the Empire trying to rebuild itself. Fantastic. Then we have a connection to the sequel trilogy. Like it or hate it, it's there. Praetorian Guards. That was pretty freaking cool. I mean, they mentioned them with the council because Moff Gideon's like, look, I want more TIE fighters. I want 3 Praetorian Guards. It was almost like he was running down a what do you call it? A hijacking list or something. You know, when you've taken hostages, like a hostage list or something.
Oh. 4 major bombers, 3 TIE fighters, 3. Oh no, I should have done that differently.
Anyway.
3 Praetorian Guards. I'm just kidding. So.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, that was super cool. Love that. And then we get the Night Owls meeting the Armorers group. Children of the Watch. We get them, the 2 factions coming together and meeting, which was quite glorious. I mean, very tense, you know, when they come to meet and everything. That was cool. I enjoyed that a lot. Love the chess game.
Right.
Between Paz Vizsla and I don't remember his name, the one from the guy from the Night Owls. That was pretty cool. Baby Yoda getting his suit of armor.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of something.
What's that?
Wow. Well, okay, one of the parts I hate in episode 5, it might have just connected here. Lizzo's character knights Baby Yoda.
Right.
And Baby Yoda basically got his suit of armor in this episode.
I saw somebody do a meme. They said something about Grogu, and he's like, "That's Sir Grogu to you," or something like that.
I saw another meme where they put him inside the character from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Was it Krang or whatever?
Oh, I don't remember that.
The character that's inside the big, suit, whatever. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, we got that. Love that. So technically, IG-11 did come back.
Technically, he did.
You and I had that argument at the beginning of the season because I was like, IG's coming back. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's done. Well, sorta. Yeah, he kind of came back. Although Moff Gideon did say he was IG-12 now and not IG-11, but
right, not Moff Gideon, but Grief Karga.
Or yeah, I meant Grief Karga.
Yeah.
Sometimes I interchange their names for some reason. I don't know why.
That's all right.
Yeah, we got that. We got Romulan ale in this.
Romulan ale from what?
When Grief Karga gives Mando whatever that
all the way from Coruscant.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it was Coruscant ale or Coruscant wine.
Yeah. I knew what you meant though. That's pretty good. That's right. This is illegal in 14 sectors. I'm just kidding. I'm making that up.
Well, isn't Romulan ale illegal?
In Star Trek, yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, you know that's illegal. Oh, it's purely medicinal purposes only.
So we got that. That was cool.
My bones, Romulan ale. That's
We
illegal.
also got the answer to the Beskar shards from when Moff Gideon was busted out of the what was an Imperial shuttle and now a Republic
for transport,
shuttle,
right?
transport or whatever. Because they said that was Beskar shards or whatever in there, and so we were all questioning. Well, yeah, my thought was it would have had to have been the Night Owls, because it wasn't going to be the Children of the Watch, because they weren't breaking Moff Gideon out. So I thought if anyone was, the Night Owls would, because they'd be paid off to do it.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
but now with this episode, yeah, it was neither.
I like it better.
I do too. I think that that was much more better.
Better. I'm having a Capri Sun, everybody. See my little package. There we go.
I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Did you steal one of Troy's Capri Suns?
I paid for them.
Sure. Touche. Okay, I get it. So yeah, we got the answer to that. That was super cool. And then we got kind of a sad moment in the end, and yeah,
it was glorious.
Oh, it was
glorious,
fantastic. This was a great episode. It really was. A lot of cool things. So, yeah, most of the episode is my favorite.
Right?
Just so much stuff in this one.
So, as in terms of the chess game, was cool to have that fight, and then here comes Grogu. No, right. Which was good, but something that was something I was going to ask you that was stated. When they were on like the Mad Max, ship, skirting all the thing, which was cool. It was great to see that you had a remnant of Mandalorians on that ship. I'll be open with you though. I think they were spies. For some part of me thinks they were.
Okay, we'll get into that a little bit. I entertain that thought, but there's something that throws me off. But okay.
Yeah. So I haven't gone back to watch the second time to check for certain things, but they were sitting at the table and they were eating, and they made the comment about Death Watch, and the armor had said that they exist no longer. And so then I thought, well, wait a minute, didn't you say something about that being a reference to us, that you're wondering if the armorer was a certain individual in Rebels that was part of Death Watch?
Now you're playing onto my theory.
Ooh, okay.
You're playing onto my theory. I have a theory that the armorer is our other spy. And the reason I say that is you have the mention of Death Watch, and she's quick to say, oh no, Death Watch is no more. But she also say that Death Watch became fractured and spread throughout the universe in the same sentence. So wait a minute, which is it? Are they no more, or are they a fractured group? Which is it? Okay. Now, I have questions since season 1. I like the armor. Don't get me wrong. But the armor has horns on her helmet. And we know
that if she was a Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. The Mandalorians were members of Death Watch who followed Darth Maul when Darth Maul took over Mandalore. And they, in honor of Darth Maul, they painted their armor red instead of the blue, because they were blue. Death Watch was blue. They changed it to red, and they put horns on their helmet. And if you notice, she had, now granted, her horns are small. They're not like huge protruding ones that the Mandalorians,
right,
Clone Wars had. But when Moff Gideon comes out, when Moff Gideon comes out in his Beskar, which, by the way, that was an awesome entrance. And then when he's bragging about the armor and he goes, you know what the best thing about it is? That I'm wearing it.
Right.
He is so full of himself and I love it. He's incredible. But then he puts the helmet on and lo and behold, it has horns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think she is Death Watch and I think she's the spy and I think she's tied to Moff Gideon. That's my theory.
There is a theory, because I started looking it up as you were talking. I was like, oh, let me see if there's a picture or something, of the horns. That's what I was looking for. But all of a sudden, there's someone who's saying their theory is the armor and Gideon are both former Death Watch and are secretly working together.
I don't think Moff Gideon is Death Watch. I don't think he's former Death Watch. He's not a Mandalorian at all.
Okay.
He's a fanboy. He's just one hell of a fanboy is what he is.
Okay.
Her, on the other hand, I think she's former Death Watch, and I that has been in the back of my mind since season 1.
Yeah.
And
This
is where I say I have a theory. I don't necessarily like my theory because I like the armor, and I don't want her to be, I don't want her to be the bad guy, but I think she is. I think she is. And as far as the Mandos that were still on the planet, I saw some theories on them because they're like, they were still on the planet, and then you got the Empire, and they're building all this stuff and bringing in all these vehicles. How did they not notice? Well, I have an explanation how they didn't notice.
Okay.
I live in a city called Belleville, Illinois, which is not a huge city, okay? And sometimes there's things being built on the other city, and until I drive over there, I have no idea that they're there. It's like, hey, when did they drop that in?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. We're talking about an entire planet here, not just a city, okay? It's very possible that the Empire is still bringing in all these ships, and these guys are way across the planet and never know it. It's not like everything's in Mayberry. Okay,
I think to a certain degree, I would agree with you. I understand your rationale. The only cog in that would be because they said because the whole point of the fact was the forge. It all is around the forge, and even they said. Where they said, "Oh yeah, we used to live here and stuff," and it was like some of us still do, and that was one of them. And I thought,
well, I don't think they were referring to the forge. I think they were just referring to the planet.
Oh, okay.
Mandalore. Period.
Okay.
That's what I think they were referring to, and I don't think they've lived in the forge the whole time. Now, okay, I agree with you. If they have lived in the forge the whole time, how did they not know that was all going on? I agree with that.
Right.
But isn't that where Bo-Katan and Mando went to when he had to go bathe in the waters and all that stuff? Isn't that the same place he went to?
I wondered that myself.
Because if it is, they weren't there then. Because they would have ran into him, and they didn't.
Right.
They're out sailing around on a sand barge.
You know how some fantasy novels and fantasy stories, they always have maps. We need a map of the surface of Mandalore where
sure that would be cool. I'm sure somewhere that's a thing. I'm sure it is. I'm sure if we looked hard enough we could find it.
Right.
And if it hasn't come out yet, it will for a role-playing game or something. I'm sure of that. So I predict within probably the next year we'll see a map of Mandalore, probably in the next year. If nothing else, it'll be in an art book. I have the art book for season 1. It's fantastic, by the way.
Ooh, nice. Okay, all right. Well, I was just curious about the whole Death Watch thing, and that would be an interesting twist if she is.
I think she
I
is,
don't-
man. As much as I don't want her to be, I think she is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I no longer think Bo-Katan's going to turn on him. I think Bo-Katan. I'm with you now. I've switched sides. Because before I was like Bo-Katan's going to turn on him, and nope, I don't think so. I think it's the armorer who's
Yeah.
who's
And I
turning
think that would explain why the armorer was so keen on
getting them all together.
getting them all together.
Mhm.
She can bring them all together, but she
And
does not wear her helmet.
She took off before they were attacked. Granted, she was taking injured ones up to the fleet to get medical
Right.
care. But I mean, I
think
don't know.
she's headed up there to. That's a good call. Yeah, she's probably up there to get on the ship. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting battle in
She
space.
could
They're
be
gonna have.
setting up the fleet now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Getting them
Yeah.
set up
Dude,
for.
I may be staying up late on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, just so I can watch the
Oh,
finale.
I think episode 8 is going to be fantastic. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we have to talk. We have to talk about Paz Vizsla. I mean, wow.
Right.
Paz Vizsla turned out to be the big hero. I mean, in the fact that he stayed behind and allowed them to get out and escape while he took on all of those wannabe Mando super commando troopers is what they are. They're super commando troopers. Took all of them on and just freaking blew most of them away. It was just glorious. And then we have those 3 Praetorian guards come in and take him down. It took 3 freaking Praetorian guards.
Praetorian.
It took 3 of them to take down Paz Vizsla. I mean, that alone, because they're supposed to be, the Imperial Royal Guards were like the baddest of bad. So the Praetorian Guards are the next iteration of the Imperial Guard. So they again are at this point in the timeline are like the baddest of the bad of the Imperials. So for 3 of them, it took 3 of them to take him down after he took down a whole squadron.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it how they had the gun like glowing bright red, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. He was just
I mean, holy crap, we got a scene at the beginning that felt very much like Blade Runner. So when we have the one, which by the way, she referred to herself as TK blah 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 blah. Man, she has so many different names. That's why she's definitely a spy. Because she's got a TK name, which is a stormtrooper name, and then she's got the rebellion or New Republic name. Her guard, or not guard, but prisoner name, I guess.
The prisoner name. What did you say? Prisoner name or reconditioned name or
reconditioned name. Boy, that sounds wrong. And then she's got her actual name. Yeah, that chick's got more names than I could. Yeah, wow. But yeah, that scene looked like it was right out of Blade Runner to me. When it just felt Blade Runner.
It did feel very Blade Runner-ish.
And then, like you said, with the barge and the other Mandalorians on Mandalore, that felt very Road Warrior.
Yeah, Road Warrior. Mad Max.
And then to me, with Paz Vizsla and the big giant gun, that felt very much like Predator. So,
okay.
It's like we got some of the best 80s movies.
Right.
All thrown together in one episode. Yeah, that would have been awesome if Mando would have looked at the rest of the Mandalorians and went back to the chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loved it.
Yeah, the whole thing with Paz Vizsla. I mean, I enjoyed the super commando stormtroopers.
Or wannabe Mandos.
or wannabe Mandos is probably better, yeah. But it was so neat to see them coming in. I was like, finally, the plans of everything have been revealed. Why did they bomb the planet? So no one would go back. And like, well, wait, it is habitable. It's not cursed. So
Right.
something else is going on. And like, oh, okay. And it's still continuing. When we first meet, I guess it was at the end of season 1, Moff Gideon. And
Yes, it was. Yes, at the end of season 1.
Yeah, and when they met him and that whole thing with, always doing these, the Death Troopers kind of a thing, which is just so cool. And then to see Luke Skywalker come in and make mincemeat of them was even better. And so I kind of wondered, with these, okay, these are individuals. It's just, it's upgraded armor, really, is what it is, and it's pretty cool. And you're right, Moff Gideon's armor was really cool, really cool. But I enjoyed that aspect of it. Finally, a reveal where the story is headed, what's been going on, what's been behind it, that kind of a thing. I mean, it took it long enough, but we got there. And but I quite enjoyed. I quite enjoyed this episode. It did exactly what it should do. Gave me a great time just to escape and enjoy what was happening and going on. And then it made me very interested in seeing what happens next.
Oh yeah. It just left me wanting more. I was like, oh, I want episode 8 now. Oh yeah. I can't wait for episode 8. I think it's going to be glorious. And then I think we're going to get the reveal of Thrawn. I think that's going to be our post-credit scene at the end of episode 8. I think
you think we'll have a post-credits scene.
Well, it'll be like the Luke Skywalker thing. When Luke shows up, I think that's what we'll get.
Oh, at the end of the episode, kind of a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We had the Shadow Council. We've had the mention of
the Shadow Council reveal, which was really good. That was cool. That was great to see.
So obviously Ahsoka's the next series coming up, because that's coming up in August.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have something, and all these tie together. Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, they all tie together. So I think with the Shadow Council, we're going to get if we won't get a full reveal, we're going to see like him returning. You know what I mean? With the fact that Pelion was saying, oh, we have to wait for the return of... Oh, by the way, he sounded fantastic. He almost sounded exactly like Mark Thompson portrays him on the audiobook, which, by the way, I was listening. I listened to about 2 hours of the audiobook yesterday, which is 13 hours long. Heir to the Empire is incredible. I love it. But yeah, he even sounds like Mark Thompson's version of Pelion, which I love. The only thing I probably would have liked, actually slightly better than Pelion, would if we had gotten Eli Vanto, because Eli Vanto is like Pelion, but in the new books, in the new Thrawn books.
Oh, okay.
And I like Eli Vanto a lot too. He's really cool too. But I'm happy with either of them. In fact, I guess I'm probably a little more happy with Pelion because it points more to Heir to the Empire, and I want this to go to Heir to the Empire. So,
did you think that was interesting in the Ahsoka trailer? Speaking of Thrawn, the Ahsoka trailer where he's returning as the heir to the Empire.
Oh, I was like, could we be any more blatant?
Right.
And then you introduce his right-hand man in Mandalorian. I mean, there's no doubt we're heading into, and we've had Mount Tantus in Bad Batch. I mean, hey, give me Sabaoth and give me Mara Jade.
Right.
And we've got Luke Skywalker. He's there too.
Right.
The only thing we're really missing is Princess Leia, and of course we're missing the twins. Of course she was pregnant with the twins in Heir to the Empire. So, but I know they're not going to go there because we already got Kylo Ren. So I'm okay if we can just work in Mara Jade somehow. I'd be thrilled.
Right.
Just somehow, Filoni, you can do it. I know you can work Mara Jade in there. Get her in there, and I want her to be a redhead like she's portrayed in the novels. Anyway, these are my Star Wars fantasies.
Right on. I hear you. Okay.
In fact, our first episode was about how Mara Jade could fix the sequel trilogy. So go back and listen to our first episode. I got a whole theory on that. And I still stick behind that theory too. It could still work. It could still work. Even right now, they could still plug her in and it could work, and it could at least fix curmudgeon Luke.
We hope.
No, it would. It would fix curmudgeon Luke.
Or
I mean,
that's why he's curmudgeon Luke, is because of Mara Jade.
Right. That's my theory.
That's a joke for all you married men out there. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing.
No, it would be the death of Mara Jade that turns him.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Wouldn't be Mara Jade is the reason he's curmudgeon Luke. It would be the death of Mara Jade.
Okay.
Gosh. It would make sense. It would make perfect sense. Filoni, you can do it. I know you can. Make it happen. As Captain Picard would say, make it so.
Right. Excuse me. That's so funny.
So I'll delve slightly into Star Trek there.
Nice.
So yeah, overall, I thought this was a great episode. And like you said, it left me wanting more. This was almost a perfect Mando episode. Now, I've heard it criticized that Mandalorian is becoming the Bo-Katan show. I understand that. I understand what they're saying. I get it, but at the same time, I think it's more about the Mandalorians and about their whole race and their families and so on and so forth.
I would say that's the bigger picture of it all. But in all openness, I mean, if they want to transfer it over to that, they can. But realistically, they've already set it up from a storytelling standpoint that it's Din Djarin. Now, I do think continuing that, it's still his adventures because he is making a choice to follow Bo-Katan. And so just because she's the leader, that doesn't make her the Mandalorian. I think just the story is of the Mandalorian, and that's who we followed and stuff, which has been really good, really interesting journey. And I think this is just part of his journey. I like says, "I will follow you until your story or your song ends." Or song, how do you put it? It's a great line.
Your song is just beginning. I will follow you until the end. I will follow you till it is finished.
Yes, that's what it was.
That's what it was. Because it was a play on This Is the Way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's the way I took it anyway.
Yeah. I also think if now that you're talking about with the see, my brain just picked up something. So remember how you were saying that the spy is what'd you say?
I said Steven just had an epiphany.
Well, I just taken what you had said earlier about the armorer, and I bet you the betrayal of the armorer is what brings those two factions together.
Yeah, as a cohesive group. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. That's probably what will do it. I hate to see it happen because I really like the armorer, but I mean, think about this a minute. The armorer put them all together. She's the one that insisted on getting the Mandos together. Bringing them back to Mandalore. Who built that armor for Moff Gideon and his super commandos? Somebody had to forge that, and as far as we know, she's the only one that can forge Beskar. So somebody had to do it. Of course. Then again, when has she been doing all that? There is that question. Because that's a lot of armor.
Right. or
That was
taught them what needed to be done
That's possible too. Maybe
and
she
all. And
trained
then,
a armorer for them.
and just as there was a deep cover spy operative for that we see on Coruscant with the comm specialist girl, then it's not a far stretch to say there would be a deep covert op person for the Mandalorians.
Wait a minute, repeat that.
So there's a great illustration of, well, if you're saying that the armorer is, if we're saying that she's a spy, man, she's been in deep cover for a long time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And you're like, well, is that realistic? Well, we just see where we now know for sure that there has been this the comm officer or whoever she was, for Moff Gideon, but she's been undercover, pretending to go through whatever the reformation or a re-education kind of a thing and stuff like that.
I don't think it's far-fetched to think, she's been in deep cover for a long time. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, because we have the example of the comm officer. It
right.
could totally apply to the armor.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. And right now I can't see, other than maybe the faction that was on Mandalore, but I'm still not buying that they're spies though. I don't know. Somehow I'm not buying that. I don't think that they are.
Oh, they were quick to go. Is that the voice of Bo-Katan? We are here to serve you, milady.
Is that Lady Bo-Katan? Yeah, right. But I don't know. They seem just so broken, and I don't know. I'm not buying it. I don't think they're spies at all. Yeah. I think they're on board. I think they've just been there trying to, keep up what they can, so on and so forth. Oh, and then we got another giant monster. I mean, how cool is that too?
We did get another giant monster.
I love giant monsters in Star Wars. I mean, I would have loved to had all these giant monsters in Star Wars when I was a kid. I would have been so geeking out over this stuff.
Now, do you think that monster was given for poetry in the aspect of rhyming, because she is going to ride the mythosaur, or the mythosaur is going to come help them?
Wait a minute. So now you think Bo-Katan is going to ride the mythosaur?
I do. I wonder.
Really?
Yeah. It'd be cool.
Okay, good point. In a fight, they didn't really die. This is what Bobby Craig is saying. In a fight, they didn't really die. They kind of just fell off the edge. Yeah, some of them, I agree with you. Some of them did just fall off the edge. I think some of them died, though. I think someone flat out died. But no, that's interesting. That's you make a good point there. I can't say all of them died. Unfortunately, our hero, Paz Vizsla, did die.
Right.
That was a brutal death too. Oh my gosh. I mean, brutal for Star Wars anyway.
Right.
He got stabbed in the neck, and wow. It was like,
yeah.
But I'm still geeking out over the fact it took 3 of them to take him down. After he takes down a whole, platoon of stormtroopers, super commandos. Oh yeah, and this also makes Poe's line in Rise of Skywalker that much more stupid. They fly now?
They fly now. Right.
Yeah. It's like they were flying. This is way
early on. Right. Yeah.
This is way before The Force Awakens. So
right.
Yeah, Poe, they fly now. Shut up.
Right.
I thought that line was, it was funny when it happened, but at the same time, it's like, well, that's stupid. We've seen them fly before. This is nothing new.
Right. Right.
It was J.J. Abrams, Jar Jar Abrams trying to insert comedy into Star Wars that just really didn't work because he doesn't know what the heck he's talking about.
Right.
Okay. And Bobby Craig says here, do you think Gideon got the Praetorians because of his encounter with Luke? Was probably scared it would happen again.
I like that.
I like that theory. That's a
Yeah.
good theory. Anytime we can bring Luke into it, I'm up for that.
Well, that makes really good sense why he would, he's afraid of an assassination attempt or he's already had Luke Skywalker show up. So to have the Praetorian guards there, that I like that. That's
I
a good
think
thought.
Moff Gideon he's kind of a pampered, higher up in the Empire. I think he's a little bit pampered because every time he shows up, he's either got death troopers. He has like the top of the line troopers on his side, where
Mhm.
Darth Vader walks around with just simple stormtroopers.
Right.
However, the Emperor is walking around with Imperial Royal Guards, or well,
Mhm.
the Emperor's not walking around, but you know what I mean.
I understood.
So,
Yes.
I think Moff Gideon is kind of pampered. He's kind of a spoiled, Imperial. That's just the way I feel about him. And it could be arrogance on his part because he is extremely arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, with that statement, you know what the best thing about this armor is? I'm in it.
I'm in it. I know. I love that. I was like, that's pretty funny stuff right
It
there.
was a great line, though. It was so good.
Yes, it was.
I mean, there are times he feels like his character from Breaking Bad.
Gotcha.
I'm just waiting for him to show up with some chicken or something. Because he has the chicken franchise in Breaking Bad. And
gotcha.
Yeah. Well, if he shows up with some kind of blue substance, yeah.
It's the same guy. Multiverse action happening all over the place.
Breaking Bad is part of Star Wars.
Right. That's funny.
All right.
Cool. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Two Geeks and a Microphone. Very glad that you were here with us. If you want to check us out, check out our website at www.twogeeksmike.com, twogeeksmike.com. There you will find all things pertaining to Two Geeks, plus our links to our Ko-fi page, where if you want to help support us, to help pay for, we just use it to pay for, the streaming service and the podcast service and things like that. Or if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at show@twogeeksmike.com. Or another way that you can help support us is go to www.audibletrial.com/2geeks. It's really cool. We've kind of teamed up with Audible a little bit, and where you can get your first book for free for their membership. So with that 30-day free trial, and I want to share with you kind of what that looks like. So with that, you get this is Premium Plus 30-day trial. You can get 1 credit. It's good for any premium selection title, and it's yours to keep. So if you decide you don't want it, you still get to keep it. The Audible Plus catalog, so that's why it's Audio Premium Plus.
And that could be Heir to the Empire, by the way.
It could be
narrated by Mark Thompson.
That is correct. I'll show you that, by the way, because this is an interesting share screen system I'm working with here. But here we go. So you could get Heir to the Empire. See, it is in my library, but you could get Heir to the Empire and enjoy it as your first one if you would like, since we have all this Heir to the Empire action going on, and I thought that may be a worthy addition to start off your Audible subscription with. So if you decide to keep it, it's $14.99 a month. You get 1 credit per month. Good on any of their originals, or there's some that are recommended for me, but you can do mysteries, thrillers, health and wellness, science, sci-fi, fantasy, business, kids, history, self-development, art and entertainment, technology, romance. There's just a ton of different categories that you can choose from. Look at all these different categories, just thousands upon thousands. Plus there's the Audible Plus catalog, where there are ones that you can get for free as part of your subscription, which is really nice. A lot of classics are in there too. So just want to encourage you guys, check that out. If you decide that you do sign up, it does help out the show as well.
And Audible also has podcasts, and I do believe that yours truly is on there.
Yes, we are on there. So I have enjoyed my Audible subscription. I have a ton. I don't know what my running total is right now, but that's okay.
All right. And you just got Heir to the Empire, didn't you?
I did just get Heir to the Empire. Yes, I did, by golly.
Hint that we might be doing an episode on Heir to the Empire.
That'd be awesome.
All right. So with that said, I would like to invite you to go and like our Facebook page and subscribe here on YouTube and give the bell a little tickle so that you get notifications of when we go live. We go live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest. Sorry, I'm not doing it. Math is not my forte. But anyway, and next week we will be covering the season finale of Mandalorian. I will not be here. I'm going to try to pop in and say hello and probably give my 2 cents, which is probably worth a cent.
You're so funny.
But we're going to have a special guest host next week, Mr. Brian Ramsey of Three Geeky Dads. He's going to say, I'm looking forward to seeing Brian on the show and seeing what he brings to the show. I'm sure Brian will be fantastic. So,
oh yeah, he's great. He's been on the he's filled in for me before, so it's been great.
Yes, and he's always been a good co-host and good guest on the show every time we've had him. All the Three Geeky Dads have been great guests. So,
oh, they're fabulous, great guys.
Love those guys. So make sure and check out their podcast too, Three Geeky Dads. All right. With that, anything else, Steven?
Nope, you got it.
All right. With that said, definitely this was the way. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the force be with you.